So that video I made about the mech trenches, combat, and all that kind of shit. Not expect that shit to blow up or whatnot. And I noticed everybody was saying like, "Oh no, you're definitely that guy," and all this bullshit. So the one thing I noticed is, if you main bagman like me, you're gonna be a powerhouse. Sure, that makes sense. But the problem that I don't like either, that a lot of people probably don't like, is the fact that it kind of makes the game more shooty instead of more sneaky. This video is mainly for the devs to see, or like if people are interested in these ideas, because there's a lot of things. I actually have a bunch of fucking shit written down. Basically, make it so you can carry only a limited amount of ammo and health depending on the space. So, for example, with the small one, I would suggest that every rig should have a small, or maybe just who cares about the size, honestly. But it'd be cool if that only one rig is used for things that you're actually using. So meds and ammo. So, for example, if I'm going in with the saw, I can just kill a bunch of Europans. Same thing with the Scar. I can just kill a bunch of Europans and take their ammo. And basically that keeps feeding my gun. So I basically don't have to worry about ever fucking dying. And until I get shot eventually and die because I was careless. But it lets you keep on shooting for a long fucking time. One thing I'd suggest basically for the ammo, a magazine system. I don't want any fucking bullshit like crazy like Tarkov, like complexity of magazines. I mean, the devs want to go in more in depth. Like honestly, I love when devs go in depth with mechanics they add into the game, but it doesn't have to be like, it could be as simple as like Insurgency, where like you just got like the little bars and that's it. I noticed over the years, me being like one of those hardcore players like Tarkov, being shit at it, but never got good at it. But I like hardcore games. Is make things simple. They don't have to be complicated. They can be in depth without being complicated. Have in-depth mechanics while they're simple, like outward. A lot of in-depth mechanics, but they're simple to remember and understand. It would be cool if you could move like magazines into these slots that are only for meds and ammo. And if you have it outside, you can't. The thing is, you have to buy multiple mags and have them fed, but you can't also load them into load the magazines themselves like in Tarkov. You can't do that in game. You can only do it out of game. Imagine now you have to actually buy the magazines, put it in your rig, and then once you get up, that's it. But as long as you kill more and they spawn with magazines, you'll keep on feeding the gun, and you can keep throwing. It kind of creates a thing where like the bigger gun you have, the less of a chance you're going to find an enemy with that weapon, or even not at all, because like nobody has a saw in this game apart from players. No AI will use them. So you could find the loose ammo round, but the loose ammo is only like boxes that you can use later instead. So yeah, you load up the 2 mags, you go in, you shoot them up, and unless there's an enemy with the same gun that you have and has actual magazines in them, because like if enemies like spawn with magazines but they're just attaching, but it'd be cool if you can actually like load them individually into the gun. You just keep throwing that into the spot in your rig that you need to load them, and you can keep fighting, but it only works with like weaker guns. You can't use it for like the saw, whatever, things like that. And I think that would limit it around like how much of a powerhouse Bagman could be, or like characters with like big ass guns. I think that would be really fucking interesting, because one good example that I have is when I'm going with this thing, but I'm going into the scrapyard nexus where you really don't see like Europans in there, so they don't spawn scars, so you don't have 50 cows to shoot around. And this is one thing that I like is that you're fucking powerhouse in that shit, but you will run out of ammo very quickly. And unless you're fighting Europans, even when you're fighting Europans, you're kind of scrounging ammo constantly, like trying to find as much scar ammo around just to keep it fed. But imagine now that you can only have a couple mags on your rig, and then somehow the only way you can find more ammo is literally finding another magazine to load it into the gun itself. Things like that would be kind of cool. Game should also make ammo more rare to find, so like you have way fewer shots instead in the game. They should take up a bit more space as well, so we have to actually manage it. Because the idea is that sure, you like imagine if I go with the bag instead of just me trying to kill everything, it would be a lot cooler if I have the potential to wipe out an entire squad if I'm with the group and like they're all kind of like weaker than me, and I have the big guy, I'm the heavy weapons guy, and I have big bullet. I go kill them all, but then now I'm halfway through my magazine and I'm like kind of low already. So basically, it's only for like it's only for like the worst situation where like we're basically stuck in combat and we can't get out of it. Like if we're cornered, for example, and we have enemies coming over around the corner, I could kill them, but then that means it's more of a just, hey, mow them down, just keep mowing enemies and just kill everything you say for the entire game. Instead, it's more, hey, you wipe out that squad, but now you gotta fucking get out of there and move to another different area to be safe, because then more's coming. Especially because I'm sure the AI is going to be improved. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it so if you engage with the squad and you don't kill them all very quickly, they could just take cover. One of them could take cover and then radio for more enemies to spawn, like on the outside of the map. I hope they do switch how it spawns with the game too, for them to spawn outside the map and they just walk in instead of just spawning, because there's a chance they just spawn on you. That needs a little fixing for sure. I think it's a decent way to limit like how much damage you can do in the game, even if you can do a lot of damage. But let's say if you're playing as, I don't know, Shaman, Scav Girl, they're just using a normal AK. As long as they keep finding your Ruskins, they're gonna find magazines on them, and they could potentially keep going. But at the same time, it is a weaker gun, and things, and like there's less of a chance to mode everything down. Especially because they also have like lower health and all that kind of shit. So you would probably want to avoid combat with those two characters a bit more. Same thing, you could probably go in with a sniper and you only might have space to load up maybe 2 mags of the fucking 20mm AP rounds, and you go to kill a boss to get the target out, and then that's it, and then you now have to figure out how to get the fuck out without wasting all your ammo, maybe with a secondary or something like that. Another thing I wonder is, like, are they gonna change models for the weapons? Because let's be honest, like, what the fuck is with games? Like, it's the same thing with Marauders. For some reason, they have like this and Marauders has such a cool aesthetic with the diesel punk shit and the sci-fi shit they got going on, but then they just use accurate weapons. Like, for example, why the fuck is this AK just like that wood? Like, with how the world looks, this thing should look more like an autogun from 40K or something like that, like the braced autogun from Darktide. I was hoping they go something like more like that. Or, for example, the AKs, the giant mechs, the Ruskin mechs carry around with. Something like that would be cool. The AK from Elysium would be something more pleasing like that to look at. Because let's be honest, I would not mind if they just swap out this model for the ones that the mechs have in the game, because you do have that, like, the European mechs, the medium mechs, they actually carry the fucking scar on them. It's just modified to be a longer barrel, and that's it. And it shoots a fucking tank round that fucking blows you up. And then you also have, like, in the Elephant Mausoleum, you're gonna find these also dead body mechs as well. They're also gonna have scars. So you can actually, if you use the attack camera, you can see them through, like, sticking through the ground. They show up as red for some reason. I don't know why. But then they also have the, what's it called? The MG34 as well. It looks fucking badass as shit. So that's another one. Hopefully they do change some of the models. Another thing, I do not like it in games when you can just carry 2 primaries, because that's how people just carry an M4 and then a sniper or a shotgun and an M4, things like that, and they just kind of have everything they need for any kind of situation, you know what I mean? So it would be cool if you had a sidearm instead, because this, like, for example, Hunt Showdown, I love how that game does their weapons. You have your primary and then your secondary. Your secondary could be a melee, it could be a pistol, things like that. Your primary, your rifle, your shotguns, all the good shit. And I feel like that's way more, it's better, because I like it when games, this is going to sound unfun, but I like it when games limit you. I like games when you're vulnerable in general, but when the game lets you do so many crazy shit, like carry a bunch of guns on you, like a Fallout game, like you carry like 10, it just does not feel tense anymore. It just feels tacky now. So I'm hoping that they replace the second one, so you can have a sidearm, which could be, I don't know, a melee weapon, a pistol, maybe there's like all these pistols here, because let's be honest, pistols aren't really that good. Like, I try to use this thing, dude, it's kind of useless, not gonna fucking lie. It'd be cool if, like, pistols are available for everybody instead, because the fact that this is the first gun you ever use, and that's it, and you can't even modify it. Same thing with, like, the shotgun. Like, dude, there's so many opportunities to modify this thing, and I would not be surprised if, like, hell, that could be one of the few secondaries in the game that maybe for Bagman and a Gunhead, maybe when he comes out, that, hey, there's a secondary that's a shotgun, but it's missing the stock here and it's shortened, so maybe it's a 4-shot small like shotgun. So yeah, secondaries, because also the fact that I can carry this fucking thing or that fucking thing is fucking insane. I can just do so much fucking damage, and it's kind of bullshit, not gonna lie. So for example, grenade launcher, they should also make ammo, like grenade launcher ammo, a lot more heavier and like take a lot more space and more rare to have, honestly, because crazy. I literally went to a match with like 90. This would be a lot cooler to have if you're like going in with a squad and being the guy that wipes out a squad or it takes out a mech when they have to deal with it. You know, that would be kind of cool. No two primaries. That shit's gay. Another one is like the weapon inconsistency with their damage. So for example, the Scar, the ammo for the Scar is the same for this thing, but the Scar does way less damage and it's a common gun. Like, you're not going to be using the Scar at the start of the game, but the thing is you're kind of forced to use it and die a lot with it just to unlock the magazines. When you unlock the magazine, it starts finally to become not a good fucking, you know, big heavy rifle. It's just a decent AR. Like this, I was like gonna use it as like a DMR, but then like it's got 5 rounds and it doesn't even fucking like kill anything. You gotta get a headshot, but the headshots are kind of weird and jank in this game. It's really fucking strange. Also, like a lot of the guns in this game have like very slow muzzle velocity and drop. I wouldn't mind it for like, let's say, assault rifles and SMGs and pistols, but like for DMR or sniper, like come on, bro. They definitely have to. I think every gun just has the same muzzle velocity in the game, and that's pretty much it. I don't know though. USP 200 damage does same damage as a Scar. Does more damage than an M4. Does more damage than AK. Does more damage than the fucking 357 too. Somehow this thing is not 300 damage, but then you also have the SVD only doing 300 damage. They gotta take all this AK shit off of this guy and give it to your Ruskin guy, which should be that red mech that pops up wounded in the innards because of the quest giver. For the Ruskins is the same model, but he should have more Asian weapons. You know, like K1s for example. A modified K1 would be kind of cool, kind of like in Marauders. You know, they just gotta make it more sci-fi looking. You know, more punk mech, whatever the fuck genre. Yeah, what is it just like, okay, first person, I remember the devs talking about it. I think they're just gonna let it, like, let the game have mods, and then players can do that. But it'd be cool if they at least add, like, at least, like, a prototype version of it, where, like, hey, your model disappears, it's your hand, and it's just first person, that's it, because they do have first person in the game. They just have to flesh it out a little bit. But I'm sure we can bitch enough to them until they actually comply with it, because another thing, because I main fast Bagman, make him a little faster. He's too fucking slow. I want him to be the slowest character in the game, of course, but he should be a little faster. More UI options. Also improvements. I in general do not like how you have an ammo counter. I love the systems they have, like for example in Insurgency, where it's just an icon and that's all you got to do, and you can just hold R and oh yeah, there's all the mags I got, there's how much ammo there's in, that's it. None of that like crazy shit. They don't have to like do ammo check animations like Guitar Car. That's not necessary. So a UI option for example could be for no enemy indicators, for example. I in general wish they took it out, but I think some people would rather have it in. I'm not sure, but I'd rather take them the enemy indicators, because I don't like how you can see them through walls at that point, and it's like, what's the point of that? AIs use grenades, cover, and doors. Please, that should be a thing in the game, because AI and being able to do more things than you expect is always a treat in video games. Like in this game, I didn't know they could vault and chase you down like in different areas, if they can vault over like walls and whatnot. That surprised me. There's certain areas they can actually vault to, like they can actually vault onto tanks or vehicles that you're trying to hide when you're like getting on high ground for the cyborgs. Yeah, they can actually reach you still, which is kind of cool. Grenades would be awesome in this game. I wouldn't know if they introduced grenades, but I do like the idea of enemies being able to use it on you, and AI could use grenades to flush you out of corners and things like that, you know. They should all be able to use cover, back off, you know, shoot from a distance instead of just walking into a room. They should be able to throw grenades to clear rooms if they know you're in there hiding. They should be able to take cover and like call a radio for like ask for help, stuff like that. I'm hoping they add more voice lines to them, because one, for example, with Trepang, I've heard Fear is the same way, but I played so little Fear as a kid on a cousin's laptop. But my experience with Trepang is you can actually hear the enemies communicate with each other and things, and they actually react to what you do in the game, which is pretty fucking. Like if you take somebody that has a meat shield, they're not going to shoot you, and they'll tell you to let the guy go. And now because they're treating it now as a hostage situation until you shoot them, and they're just gonna tear through the guy to get to you. But until you do that, they're gonna start flanking you to get you from the side. Less TACAM range, yes. I would actually like the TACAM to have like less range because you can see so fucking far away from, especially like loot and enemies and whatnot. You can see them so far away, and it should be like, you know, I think it's too much. Also, I don't like it when it elevates because it glitches through like roofs and stuff like that. It should just change the visual of it, and that's it. And maybe add the UI features like how an enemy, I don't even know if an enemy aggron, I just don't like that UI feature with an enemy like investigating an aggron, but maybe you can't mark an enemy or a spot without a TACAM, things like that. I also hope they take out the crosshair. I in general don't like crosshairs. Maybe with the TACAM it has a crosshair, I don't know, but the game feels very easy to shoot anyway in third person with even out of fucking sight. Aim control changes. Aim and shoot like in PUBG where like you click to aim down your sight. Stack items, yes. Jesus Christ. Because I fucking hate this shit how like there's like multiple. You should be able to just have like all of them like says X2. It should say X2 right now. One here, it says X2 right here. Also inspecting like the actual stuff in here on your backpack would be pretty tight instead of having to drop and pick it back up. Let's say you played for 3 hours and you've been playing gun-ho and you've been killing a bunch of enemies, and throughout the raids they start sending bigger and badder enemies to get you instead of just the same little NMG guy you can just mow down anyway. And the only way for them to stop sending bigger enemies is, you know, when you get off the day and you come back tomorrow or play a couple hours later, it cools down your bad rep on that faction, and they start sending you normal enemies again for hunter killers when they hunt you down. And this could be more like cool dynamic where like as you play the game, it becomes more challenging throughout the session. So at the start of the day when you're playing, you're warming up and whatnot, and as you're getting more kills and whatnot, it starts to get more challenging, and you have the option to not engage enemies anymore to avoid it getting too high, which is a good way to also make it so you don't engage everything, like, because the game's not about that. So yeah, I wouldn't mind if they had the stalker, if they made it a little like maybe 3-hit you and you can actually fucking kill it with, you know, decent weapons, because like from my experience it doesn't die. Somebody told me he shot it for like 5,000 rounds and kill it, and I also shot it with like 300 rounds of shotgun shell with the fucking automatic shotgun ones. While I was glitching the wall, plus the squad was shooting at it, and also the hunter killer was shooting at it for like 10 minutes straight, and it didn't die ever. So yeah, in the game, I feel like some of the enemies have too much health. Sometimes you feel like you got too much health as well, but that's me main and Bagman mostly. I think they gotta tone down his HP gain over time. What else? Fixed craft for guns. Yes, this is a weird one. I don't know if this is a bug or it's just not in game, but I already unlocked everything. I looked around to see if it was a new workbench. Nothing new, but yeah, I can't find a workbench anywhere around here. I scoured this place for like 5 minutes straight, and I could not find a fucking thing. Another thing I noticed is if you shoot something, they just run away. It'd be cool if you could actually like shoot them by accident and kill them, and it lowers your scav rep. You should be able to choose what heads and skins you also have. I don't like how when you die you just have a random one. Like I don't like afros are cool, bro. I love women with afros. Like my favorite type of woman, black women with afros, bro. Hits different.
Booty was more important than food.
But I don't like the afro in this game, and I really like the high top fade that makes you look like Fresh from Subway Surfer. Oh, another suggestion that would be cool for the guns is that you can just like right click the gun, like you see the M16 here, bam, and then you're gonna see the other variants. And like you could typically like close in them back here, and bam, you got this. But you know, it'd be cool if you could just right click and then like a pop-up comes up of like the different build names, and you just press that one. Holy fucking shit! I still got 30 minutes of footage to edit. Still, I did 20 of it. It was like an hour-long recording of me ranting about the game. Try to cut it down as much as I can, because there's a lot of times I would like lose train of thought and whatnot. I'm just gonna cut that in half and make it a 10-minute video and then post the rest later. I don't fucking know. Yeah.